Assalamu alaikum, my name is Salim Siddiqui and thanks for watching this continuing series on the HotConflict.com website. We're continuing right in with the unseen story of the Prophet and explaining some of the spiritual and mystical meaning behind it. Now we said that during his ascension the Prophet was assigned a salah, 5 prayers. And that we just finished talking about the spiritual nature of the earth and that the earth actually has chakras itself and that places of worship are actually portals or vortexes or centers or focal points of actual light in sacred geometry or patterns of the earth. And we said that the Kaaba itself is the heart center built by Adam, rebuilt by Abraham, established again as the new temple for worship for the earth of the final messenger, and now the Qibla or the direction of prayer for all those of the light from this point on. And we said that the Prophet is given prayer as a methodology of worship during his ascension. Now, many of you who are in the disclosure community, who are imagining UFOs, who are talking about ley lines, who are talking about portals, who are talking about vortexes, many of you who study crop circles, many of you who study sacred geometry, I want you to think of all the images you see, and you always see that patterning that is there. We've talked about first the Markaba, and we've talked about first the 6 points of the Star of David. Then we've talked about the time of Jesus saying that no, there's actually 12 points and that we are the one. And so you can imagine a series of circles beyond the first series of circles of the Markaba. Then you can imagine the cube being formed and many of the crop circle patterns and mandalas having this pattern. Now if you can imagine a Kaaba in the ascension and a Kaaba on the earth, and since we are talking about the ascension of the Prophet Muhammad, all of you who have ever heard the term ascension in your life or have heard the term Mar Kaaba, know the term light Kaaba, then please, is it not obvious that we are the people of light who are saying, Assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you, O people of light who are seeking ascension. We have been given the last messenger. We have been blessed with the Kaaba of the earth. And we have been given the tale of the final light worker who went to the Kaaba of the highest realms. And those of you who understand the whole on of ascension or the process of ascension or the process of the Mar, light, Kaaba, lower and higher self, then we are the ones who on this world have the lower self, the physicality of the Kaaba, and we have the ascension tale of the Prophet seeing our noble father Abraham at the Kaaba during his ascension. Do you see what I'm saying? Are you recognizing the importance in sacred geometry? Well, let's go on and talk about the actual prayer. The prayer is a series of physical actions, starting with the opening and then going through the actual recitation of the word in the original Arabic language. Now, if you understand frequency and harmonics, then you should understand that we have been given the very word, the very spoken word of the Lord Most High, and speaking that word creates the perfect pattern of frequency of vibration for the new field of light that is being created for mankind. just the very recitation of the words in Arabic help spread that pattern out loud, because they are the words that were spoken by your Lord. So the Muslims say those in certain of their prayers. There are 5, as we said, prayers conducted, and they are spoken with recital from the word. Now, they are conducted at various times, 5 times a day, and there is a bowing posture and then a prostration posture and certain circuits. Now, the most important point of the physical prayer is the prostration. Here is where the naysayers against Islam will talk about Muslims all bending over towards Mecca. We are trying to tell you that if you understand sacred geometry, that if you are focusing your directional intent towards the pattern and within the proper rotation, it actually is reinforcing the pattern of sacred geometry that we are trying to create of light on this earth. I know you haven't realized that, but that's what we are doing upon this earth. And so the 7 points of the body, 2 physical feet, 2 knees, 2 hands, and the bridge of the crown chakra form the 7 physical points, or the 7 physical chakras of spirituality that prostrate in physicality. Now, we do this process 5 times a day based on the rotation of the sun. At Fajr, the morning, Dhuhr, the zenith of the sun, Asr, late in the afternoon, Maghrib at sunset, and then Isha after dark. These spiritual 5 times based on the rotation of the sun create the 5 spiritual moments of focus, along with the 7 spiritual points of prostration to perfect the 7 physical points, along with 5 spiritual points of creation, forming the 7 physical chakras of the body, along with 5 spiritual essences of the other 12 chakras within the 12-pointed system to create the whole 13. This is what my brothers and sisters have been doing, whether they realized it or not, all over the earth, all with pure intent, focused towards the center heart chakra to try and line up the light upon this earth, on this plane of existence, understanding sacred geometry, that when this pattern is created and the Muslims are in that prayer, focused humbly, reciting that vibration in congregation all over the earth, the harmonic frequency and vibration of the field begins to occur, and the pattern is created, and the spread of that field and those points with the cube in the center starts to get created. And those of you who understand sacred geometry begin to see that that cube of the Kaaba is the heart chakra in the flower of life, and that flower of life with its 19 points gets spread. And this is what the Muslims are establishing, 5 points a day. And many of my brothers and sisters of the light are here in the West conducting meditations and spiritual healings and focusing in on the light and getting different ways to do it. And all my brothers and sisters are doing the 11:11 thing, and I salute you. And every night at 11:11 I can feel you guys, and I look at the clock and I think, you know, you guys are hilarious, you're cracking me up. But I don't say that to mock you. I love my brothers and sisters. But Muslims are doing this all over the world, not based on a physical time, my brothers and sisters, but based on the actual patterning of existence, as is patterned based on the sun itself. Since this is talking about the changes of the sun, we do that and watch the solar rotation based on the lunar cycle of months. A plug to my brothers and sisters from the Jewish community who still follow the lunar cycle. We follow that, and based on that, each month paying attention to that cycle of lunar change, focusing each day on the movement of the sun, not on physical time as they have forced you to believe in, but on actual changes of light and shadow. We pray 5 spiritual times of higher realms of existence, 7 physical points of the chakra system. And those of you who are Muslims who don't understand spirituality and that the body has different points and joints and actual openings, then I present to you Salat al-Duha, that the Prophet said, if you want to unlock all your chakras and openings and open up the physical energy points of your body, you can do it spiritually every day by praying Salat al-Duha. The Prophet said that every opening that you need to spiritually open within physicality, and this is a gift to you, my brothers and sisters of the light, if you pray 2 circuits at the time of Duha, after the sun has risen, then it will physically unlock everything you need to do. Now, that is not saying don't do bloodletting or acupuncture or any other physical Reiki or healing, but that Salat al-Duha is the most superior way that will open you up to the most incredible light of the pattern that we are talking about. But I want you to see, my brothers and sisters, that we're talking about creating the actual pattern of light through the actual prayers. And that has been what the Muslims are doing, although many people don't realize this. Now, this has not been known to my brothers and sisters from the Jewish or Christian community, except those who are the most wise and recognize the pattern. And this has not been known as part of the sacred geometry pattern, even for my brothers and sisters of the light. But I want you to recognize that there is, in an essence, a shifting and changing, and that the physical dimension that we are in is going to actually physically line up the physical Ka in physicality, and the Kaaba of the higher dimensions are going to line up, and a path of light is going to infiltrate this earth. And those of you who are talking about disclosures have been suggesting and saying that this is going to happen and this field of light is going to increase so heavily. But you haven't been putting together this piece. And I'm telling you that there is in our story this tale of ascension and this 2-part Kaaba tale, and that those of you who understand the Kaaba and the Kaaba being the path of ascension, we are saying now that the Prophet is final messenger, and he has given the path of ascension, and he has given the prayer, and that the Kaaba is now chosen as the place of the light for all people on the earth, and the direction of the pilgrimage, and that the prayer in and of itself is the form of physical meditation and physical prayer that is gifted upon the new believers, that they are given not just intent or focus or dua or supplication or prayer as just words, but a physical thing that they could do in congregation as a group 5 times a day all over the world, channeling in at the same time. Not physical time, but spiritual time based on where they are in the field of consciousness, beyond the field of time, of energy, that torsion field, as my brother David Wilcox, peace and blessings be upon you, oh David, likes to talk about in this upcoming change that you keep suggesting, that this field is being created by my Muslim brothers and sisters all over the earth, and that the prayer is being conducted all over the earth 5 times a day, all over the earth, and my brothers and sisters are starting to come in their light, and just as much my brothers and sisters in Europe and in the West and Canada and America and South America are focusing in at different times and doing different healings and focusing in on this pattern of change. And my job here as a Muslim is to make all of you who are of the light, who ever hear this tale, realize that there is a Muslim explaining to you the story of the ascension of our Prophet, making you realize that it not only totally confirms what you have had, but gives you so much more detail that I'm only addressing just a little bit of it. But we're continuing to talk about this phase that anyone And the ascended masters are demonstrating and returning and telling you that they have ascended individually. And anybody can ascend at any time. And Jesus, son of Mary, was saying in his final Last Supper that you can ascend and I am going to ascend. And my brother Peter almost walked on the water. If Peter had walked on the water, would he have been God? No, he wouldn't have been the Creator Most High. But he almost walked on the water. He almost believed, following my brother Jesus on the moment. And then the reality just took over and he started to sink. And then it was pulled in. But there was a moment there when he almost believed. And you, all light workers, are trying to express your truth to other people and make them believe that these things are going to occur and get them to be focused in on the light and ignore the fear and chaos that the dark is trying to express to you, no matter who it's coming from. And that is why one of the beauties of the truth is that no matter how you receive the truth, you can always feel that vibration of light, because there is, in a higher sense, an understanding. Now, if you understand, my brothers and sisters who are Muslim, that there is a higher self Kaaba, that there is a Kaaba that we have made physically, and that there is a Kaaba having its highest self in the highest levels of the skies, then aren't you, my brothers and sisters, the greatest of creation? Aren't you, oh brothers and sisters of Islam, the highest of creation? Don't you have a higher self? If there is a higher self for a structure, aren't you greater? Aren't you the greatest thing that has ever been created? You have been created by the noble hand of your Lord. Or have you forgotten? And because of this, my noble father Abraham built the house with his family. And because of this, my prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, told you to reinforce the traditions of all of the messengers and established the Hajj. And everybody who heard this story of the truth has ever heard me say that if we're going to talk about disclosure and talk about what's happened in the past, then we have to talk about what every person who heard me tell this story of the truth in the past has heard me say, that this story is about the Hajj, the sacred pilgrimage of all the beings of light upon this earth. Do you know when the Hajj is coming? Do you know when it's going to be? Can you feel that vibration? Ooh, I can feel the Hajj coming, my brothers and sisters. Take a deep breath and feel the vibration of the Hajj coming. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.